Hello and welcome to a game of Bar Beyond All Reason. And in this game here, it's going to be a little bit more of a higher rated one, bit of a pro match if you will. I would say this game is going to be more so a little bit more like subtleties if you will, when it kind of dictates who's going to win something or who's going to come out on top during a certain engagement. So instead of me rambling on, let's go ahead and just hop right into it, shall we? So in this game here, our most decorated player is going to be Stardom. A lot of veterancy and a skill of 49. It's pretty nice, pretty good. Representing the blue team at that. And over on the flip side, literally, Flip Zhao is going to be representing the red team as the captain here with the highest rated skill value. And let's go ahead and speed things along. I would say a little bit in the beginning, just to get past that initial phase, a little bit quicker. And let's go ahead and keep an eye on Stardom to see exactly what he's doing. So he's already got his, well, metal extractors out, of course, 2 starting wind turbines. And earlier that we didn't see, I'll just go ahead and say it now, is that he actually started out with 1 wind turbine. Before even starting this shipyard, he actually had a tidal generator. But then he noticed he needed more power, so he actually went and built a 4th wind turbine. And as you can see now, since he's got the shipyard going and his sonar tower up, he's kind of just building more wind turbines in between as he helps get the construction bots out and other ships going. As you can see, they're going to be, of course, going to get these metal extractors individually. This one here is going to be doing a little bit more extra. And now, since he's done here, he's going to get a little bit of his energy converters to help out with the metal that he's going to be needing. And he's going to actually have this one here. Well, duh, he's going to have that one there. Let's go ahead and leave out of there and go check out what Zhao is doing, seeing as these two are going to initially kind of duking it out, I would say. Gentleman's glove duke type of battle between them. Instead of like this, where it's just an all-out battle and race to see who can get the most resources here in the center on this little island. And I would say another player that we should definitely keep watch on for this game is going to be Full Shock. Just whenever you see his color come around, you know trouble's coming when you see him. Seeing as I won't spoil it here, but you'll see later. You'll see why later too. So right now, Flip Zhao is coming in with his commander and his 2 Riptides coming on down. And then as we see here, we got 6 dolphins already manufactured by Stardom. And we're only 5 minutes and 35 seconds in, which is pretty crazy to think about. Construction ships setting up, taking a real advantage of the dual construction power. And now he's putting his units in front. And a little bit of a skirmish ensues. And Cortex, of course, has a little bit of an advantage when it comes to this kind of naval warfare, but that's okay. Because Armada has its own tricks up its sleeve when it comes to when it comes to the dukage of the gloves and the mitts. Now, you're going to notice a bit of an exchange of not radio towers, but naval radar towers to get as much intel as possible, kind of a back and forth. As you'll notice, Stardom is actually placing them continuously as he goes to get a little bit of an advantage to see what's going on. Now, Flip Zhao kind of leaves himself exposed, actually, which isn't going to be in his favor as he is being attacked by submarines, left all to his lonesome. And that's not gonna go well for him in this situation. And it looks like, yep, Stardom saw that, took an advantage early and went ahead and brought out his construction ships, 2 of them, matter of fact. And he's even gonna try to attack the construction ship of Zhao, who he could have actually finished it. Man, I know that had to be a little bit. He could have got just a little bit more resources, but Flip Zhao suffered a loss and even lost the construction ship in the end there, due to these submarines. And these naval engagements are really more of a, I want to say, rock, paper, scissors, or I have this, so I just win. And as you'll notice, that's going to be kind of what it is. It's just a back and forth between these two. And, you know, even with a destroyer, I mean, the submarines are still doing a little bit of damage. I mean, if he had more of them, it would be much more considerable, especially since he's microing them around the submarines at that. Stardom is building them up and sacrifices his commander right underneath the enemy ships, coming in, cleaning up the mess. And finally, the construction ships are cleaning his commander's remains as he extracts the metal and the remains of the glorious winnings that is naval warfare. Now, he is coming back, extending quite far, I would say, getting in there into the enemy's back line, seeing what they got going on, getting some intel, and of course doing as much damage as he can with what he has. And of course, like I said before, keep an eye on Volshok. Volshok with his ships dominating the skies as he's going in air. Let's see what it is. Yep, the sabers coming in and really just making a mess of things for him and his naval assault down into enemy base, overextending himself, giving Saber a chance to really just kind of pick him off. I mean, these units can shoot back, but it's just not enough. It's not enough to really make up for it at all. And Saber now getting his air route pretty strong and going heavily into it, dominating Stardom despite him being a pretty experienced player. But in this situation, it's just not in his favor, because these naval ships, as strong as they are, and the fact that they can't shoot back, if you're not playing the right game of rock, paper, scissors, it's not even fair. He's pretty much playing rock, paper, scissors, hammer. And Volshok has the hammer. And as we can see here, we have Green kind of holding down the fort, doing his thing, repairing up his troops by the looks of it, and actually reviving some lost ships during his engagement on the left side here. And things are pretty balanced, of course, in the beginning with the units as they all kind of do their thing and make the most out of it. Now Stardom now playing the same game of rock, paper, scissors on the right side, actually building a little bit of anti-air hovercraft, the sweepers, thankfully to kind of hold back a little bit, just to make sure he's not going to be doing anything extra that he should be doing as it is. And look, if I could just click one of these guys. Yep, seaplane swarmers. Oh, that's what they are. Now he's gonna be moving his ships up. I mean, he could go on land, but there's really no point. Why risk it when you don't have to, especially if you just need to hold, allow your teammate does what they do best. And that's caused a little bit of damage to the orange player over here. That's going to be his nice little counterpart. And looks like Zhao in the back is actually doing a little bit extra, slowly building himself back up. And yep, still is taking shipyard. And it looks like Justice Club used a lot of D guns, but it was something to get the job done. He had to do what he had to do. Oh, I just ignore those dings there. It's getting a message on my phone. But Green over here really pushing, kind of doing the same thing, starting them, extending very far into enemy territory. And Volshok is actually over here with his commander just kind of sitting. I don't think he realizes that his commander is pretty exposed right now. But getting some nice D guns, cleaning up what he can, holding this little island here, especially since the blue team kind of has their air over here as well, kind of holding down what they can. And Green is going deeper and deeper into enemy territory, going to be attacking this power supply if he's lucky enough, or if he can actually see it, and he's going to be seeing it real soon anyway. And it seems like there's kind of a bit of a stalemate going on for this island, but the warmer colors definitely have control over it, which is going to be a slight significant advantage they need for the resources and just positioning overall, especially here with this plasma artillery having some pretty good range, being able just to pick off small amounts of resources, and especially holding control of this. It may not seem important, but just denying the enemy team certain points of the map, or just certain metal extractors and certain resources, is a big plus. If you deny them, that means they are just not being able to get it and are going to be struggling for resources that much more. Small things go a long way. And as we can see here, Flip Zhao, heavy in the sub category, and a lot of construction ships to do some nice cleanup. And then green also getting kicked back as, what is this, Bing Bing Bang. Bing Bing Bang with his cruisers, which are Tech 2. Paladins, really able to easily clean up green's naval forces here, along with the Volshock as he's dominating the air for the time being. By the looks of it, you can just see by the color that it looks kind of even, but actually I don't think you're a mod. Okay, I thought you was a scavenger for a second. But Volshock seems to be just a little bit more efficient when it comes to holding down the air. And Stardom has actually been attacked by Pink and is getting raided on his home base island, and that's not going to be good for him, as he's going to be losing some valuable time in rebuilding. Despite getting the reclaim, I don't think it was going to be enough in the exchange to make up for it, as he's now having to build a little bit of his own air units to be able to hold his ground over here on the right side, especially in the sea, as leakage is pouring through uncontested, and he's going to be draining his resources, not being able to focus on the naval side, as Flip Zhao over here, along with Bing Bang, actually kind of setting up a defensive line. So their hold is going to be pretty high, and I don't think Stardom is going to be able to really push that anytime soon. And by the looks of it, we're going to have some amphibious troops actually coming in to help out the kind of minty green, kind of helping out Fan over here, as they slowly kind of make an aggressive push. And it was a cormorants, and those are, if I could click one, gimme. Almost got it. Oh, torpedo bombers. Okay. Now it is nice to actually have some torpedo bombers to actually help out over here on this side, especially since he's going to be needing the help. But unfortunately, there's a battleship along with lots of other ships that will be able to shoot back. As nice as it is to have air support, it's even better to have your own air support. Well, the enemy own air support coming in to the rescue from those torpedo bombers to do some cleanup, and a massive, almost feels like a 3v1 a little bit for Stardom. And I don't know if they're intentionally doing this, but yeah, Marauders already at 25 minutes in, coming deep into Stardom's base, focusing him down and really making sure he is in check, not being able to do much at all, while everyone else is kind of being held at a stalemate, not really being aggressive enough, capitalizing on the fact that they're just holding against one player, focusing all their forces here deep on this side. And here comes a flagship, a behemoth of a naval ship with a stupid amount of range, being able to fire down the most. And it looks like they're drawing some battle plans as he chases Stardom's naval fleet down to Davy Jones' locker. My goodness. And this battleship over here is just nitpicking away at these forces that are just standing, trying to have some help. Stardom asking for help, but it's going to be hard to get that. Even though these amphibious troops are coming in quick, they're not going to be able to do too much damage in order to help out so much. But it's going to be looking like a bit pusher 16 actually coming in for a little bit of a rescue. Will Volshock notice and be actually able to counter? And yes, he does come in for a nice swoopage, cleaning up those gunships, making the most out of all this. And it seems like there's going to be a bit of an aerial dogfight here as they all start taking each other out, along with the help of Stardom's troops kind of helping out. Bit pushers units, and so many did not make it, and Volshock is still going strong. And it seems like air is being the dominant one that goes on in this game here, especially on this right side. Despite Fan being able to push so far up the left, it doesn't feel like he's doing too much, especially when there are now two capital ships, a whole air force, along with all of Bing Bang's troops coming in with flip zows as well on this right side. It feels like just a lot of overwhelming pressure. 3 capital ships being massively produced by Justice 4 Club over there. And by the looks of it, yeah, Fan is pushing. It seems like, who was it? A Polygon was a little bit eliminated, so 1 base is taken out, but it doesn't seem like there's going to be much they can do to actually help out over here. I mean, he's got a few things around, and some nice construction bots still holding the fort, but seems like Fan has really taken him out on that side over there. But it seems like the same's kind of happening to Stardom, where he's just getting nitpicked and focused down heavily on this right side over here, where all the action's pretty much taking place, since everywhere else is a bit of a stalemate, except for Fan, who is being the aggressor on the Navy side. It's almost like a little bit of a yin-yang situation going on. And Bit Pusher is pushing heavily with all his air units over here. Thankfully, Volshock and Justice 4 Club haven't actually realized that all these gunships are over here, and they could have just done a bombing run or a little bit of anything to these very, very vulnerable bases. And thankfully, with the combined help of everyone together, they are able a little bit to stem the tide, but not quite take out all their flagships. That is 10k metal just sitting right there. My goodness, but it's gonna be quite hard to actually do it, to recover all that. Oh, excuse me. Despite it being really nice as a pick-me-up for Stardom if he can actually manage it. But as we look over here, Bing Bang holding down the line all the way in the top corner over here, pushing back Fan, who just doesn't seem like he was quite prepared for this attack coming down on him, and now he's actually putting a lot of them in the corner. I guess he's gonna be going for a little bit of a sneaky roo with those ships, being able to pull them around the corner. They have their own little skirmish and battle as Fan resupplies the new front line for himself. So the StarCraft man is also trying to set up a little something, get a little bit of a cheeky strikes in, see what he can do. A Polygon slowly trying to make himself back into the game, building up a small base on that island over there, getting a little something under the protection of Bing Bang, but I don't think it's going to be lasting long. And the pressure still ensues from Justice 4K, who is just pumping out ships at an alarming rate. My goodness. Well, it seems like Stardom is doing his best to counteract all of these ships with submarines. But my goodness. Oof. 22k metal hanging about. They're trying to recover, trying to repair, trying to do what they can. But my gosh, is it a bit of a slug, and not too much can really be done about this. I mean, there's just too many ships. Not too much can happen, even with all the resurrected ones. I mean, even with the resurrected, usually that can lead to a slow advantage of attrition, but in this case, the ships are just too powerful while being supported by these good old flag ships over here. And it seems like Flag is trying to set up a defensive line, and actually he's gonna get some nice reclaim over here. Almost 10, well 9 going down slowly. That's pretty good. Slowly pushing up his defensive line and getting some easy shots off at the enemy Bing Bang, who is not AFK, but not quite gonna be able to hold this right now. But Volshock changing roles a little bit, adding in a little bit of naval support with his mass of just air units waiting and hidden in the back. And it seems like was that Dujavi? Yeah, Dujavi pushing over this island in the center section where the most hectic would be, with his Marauders taking advantage of their speed and trying to go deep into enemy territory, do as much as he can before he gets mowed down completely. It looks like he's trying to target this commander here. He almost had it, almost, but so close. At 10% and slowly healing, JTL walks away safe and sound, unfortunately. And it seems like a Polyo, wow, able to really bring himself back into this with a surprising force of his own, setting up a new defensive line, shockingly. Nice. And it seems like with the combined forces of Bing Bang and Volshock, they're actually coming down hard on Fan, who now has a flagship of his own, being able to kind of help when it comes to the land, but Bit Pusher might be a bit of a pickle. Thankfully, he's getting some nice D-guns, is repairing and keeping himself in check. This is a high-level game, of course, so they can naturally recover themselves despite being in the worst situations. And as you can see, I feel like Stardom has done that the most this game. Really being able to recover, recuperate, really tell his team and get the info going. And oh, for a second I thought he was going for a big push, big air push for a second there. But really hanging in there. I mean, 40 minutes in and he's still going strong, still doing the best he can. And as you'll notice, it's 40 minutes in and the game doesn't feel like it's really slowed down at all this entire time. It feels as though it's still going as if we're only 20 minutes in. And I would say that's probably another thing between higher rated players and lower rated players, is that the longevity of the game. They're not giving up and just doing a brain dead spam of some kind. They're continuously trying to improve, change up their strategy, as Justice 4 Club here has I would say definitely proven that the most. Going air, going naval, going flagship, and finally now just pushing Titans, which is going to be a little bit unexpected and not be able to actually be stopped anytime soon. I don't even think Stardom's going to be able to stop this now. There's just only so much adversity one person can take, especially when everyone else is having their own problems. Fan over here, who's done pretty good for most of the game, is slowly getting pushed, trying to hold on to his flagship, keep it in the back, take advantage of that long range against all these other low tier units. But combined forces with Volshock again, who is combining a little bit of an air wall between him and Justice 4 Club, who seems to be playing a multi-role by the looks of it. Lots of Aphis, lots of energy going on here. During this in-game, you can quite see that the red team has a significant advantage in energy and metal by the looks of it. My goodness. And that advantage is coming into play quite incredibly. And by the looks of it, this game won't be lasting too much longer, especially since Stardom has now finally lost his home starting island base here. He's going to be missing that metal. And it looks like he's going to be trying to take a frontal confrontation against the flagship and being able to take it down, not really realizing that these Titans are still going strong. He's going to have to pull his troops back. Whether he likes it or not, he's going to have to pull back. A Polygon sending in his small few forces here, down, helping out however he can. These Titans are just rummaging down now into Light Blue's base, causing havoc. Mass ping trying to tell the team, but it's too late. Aphis is down, causing a chain reaction going throughout, and my goodness, Justice 4 Club made the right call, as A Polygon, who was taken out way earlier, kept going, kept making troops, and helped out his team as best he could, the best way he could. And now it looks like we're going for a big resign here, as the game was slowly coming to an end regardless. But let me actually go to the big face cam. Yeah, as you can see there, the players were able just to keep going for longer. I feel like for whenever you play in your games, I would say that's probably something just to think about right there. I mean, keep changing your strategy up to the point that the other team just can't actually keep up with you. Of course, focus on your infrastructure, as well as Justice for Club was able to make that happen with a multitude of aphises and converters and all the such. But keep changing the strategy and the longevity of the game. It never really felt like it slowed down too much. They was all on their toes the entire time, despite everything going on. And most games you'll see them, you'll see the low rated players kind of just do a spam. You'll notice they kind of go brain dead a little bit. Keep doing the same thing. Not sure what to really do to break the stalemate, but as you saw, Volshock switched roles completely. I mean, he was air for the most part, but actually switched to naval. He had a little bit of land every now and then, I think, but mostly air, and then naval help out with Big Fan. Bing Bang kind of playing more of a support naval role, but he did his job in A Polygon. I mean, he got taken out early. Taken out pretty early, but he kept going. He just kept going, kept pushing, and my goodness, did he really devastate what was left of Stardom's base, despite him being a pretty experienced player. Him as well, keeping the spirit going of the game and really just pushing forward. I mean, that's pretty nice. That's pretty good, shockingly enough. And I give the whole team that. Give the whole team credit. Everyone. I mean, that was a pretty amazing game, if I say so myself. But without further ado, I must say, like, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Adios.